Warning, 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 there's a rant ahead. I have seen the same mistake on podcasters' websites over and over and over, and I want to plead with you, I want to beg with you to listen to this episode and not do this stinking stupid thing again. My name is Kerry Green, and I am the client happiness guy at podcastfasttrack.com, and this is Podcastification. This show is all about podcasting. How to do it, how not to do it, best practices, interesting news items that have to do with the realm of podcasting, and who knows what else. And I'm trying to do it all with a little bit of fun and some information to help you get a show going, keep yours going, or make it better. And if you like what's going on here on the show, I would appreciate it, oh so appreciate it, if you could leave a rating or review on iTunes. You can find out how to do that at podcastfasttrack.com/review. That's enough of that kind of stuff. Let's get you podcastificated right away. So I spend a lot of time in the Apple Podcasts directory. It used to be called iTunes, but now it's called Apple Podcasts. And by the way, if you haven't changed your little logos and your banners on your websites to reflect that change, Apple Podcasts is not going to be real happy with you. So I would suggest you go to the Apple Podcast website and get their little piece of artwork to put on your site in place of whatever you're using right now. Anyway, that's beside the point. I spend a lot of time in Apple Podcasts because I find good clients there. And I usually take the little link that says website next to their podcast listing, and I'll go to visit their website because I want to check them out. I want to see if there's a show we can work with. I want to see if there's somebody I would want to work with. And I see this same problem over and over and over and over. I'm going to quit ranting and just tell you what it is. People put a really cool looking show notes page up for a particular episode of their podcast, and you scroll up and down, up and down, up and down that page, trying to find a stinking web player so you can actually hear what their podcast sounds like. And you know what I find? I find that silly little piece of artwork that says listen on Apple Podcasts. And that's the only way they have for me to listen to their show is to go to Apple Podcasts. Now, let me explain to you why that is not a good plan for your podcast. There's actually a handful of reasons why that's not good. Number one is not everybody has an app on their phone, especially Android users, where if they click on that Apple Podcast logo, it's actually going to open up a playable version of your podcast. I mean, people who have an Apple device will obviously have their podcast app open up automatically when they click on that. Or if they're on their computer and they have iTunes installed, iTunes will open up when they click on that app, or at least it's supposed to. But what about all the people out there who are using Android phones? They're not going to be able to listen to your show simply by clicking on that Apple Podcasts little logo. So what I'm suggesting here is, sure, include the logo on the page if you want the logo to link to Apple Podcasts. But don't make that the only way someone can listen to your show when they come to your show notes page. It's ridiculous because you're not making it easy for your listener to actually be a listener. Does that make sense? Now, there's another reason you don't want to do it this way. That's because it's taking people off of your website. You're taking them away from all the goodies you've created for them to see. And see, your goal as a podcaster is to get your target audience listening to your show and becoming familiar with you as a resource around that topic. But if you send them away, they're not going to get to see all the cool goodies you have for your particular topic that you're talking about. Instead, they're going to see a list of your episodes and they might listen to 2 or 3 of them. They might even subscribe there on Apple Podcasts. But then they've not had the opportunity to see things like books and courses and consulting and things like that that you offer that you're actually wanting them to get. They're not getting to see your email opt-in opportunity. You see, you need to keep those people on your website if at all possible. And the best way to do that is to include an actual web player from your media host, whether that's Blueberry or Libsyn or Podbean or Spreaker. I don't care who it is. They're going to offer you some way to play your episodes right there in your show notes page. And let me tell you something, it's not that hard to insert that player. For example, on Libsyn, which I have a relationship with Libsyn, if you want to get a month and a half, up to a month and a half's worth of Libsyn service free, you can use my code PFT. But the point is, Libsyn has a player code for every episode. You just click a little green button, it opens a window, there's the code, you copy it on your WordPress website or even your Wix website or your Squarespace website. You go into the code section where you want that player to appear, you paste in that code, and voila, you have a clickable web player right there. And it does count as downloads in your stats. It does count as a play. So you don't have to worry about that being an issue. Now, that's two reasons why you don't want to send people to Apple Podcasts to listen to your show. But there's a third reason. And I've covered this on a previous episode. But it's a reason that I think bears repeating because it's vitally important. And here it is. The longer people stay on your web page after coming there from doing a Google search, the more Google thinks your particular page was a great answer to the question they were searching for. Let me give you a scenario. Say Jimmy John is searching for something about social media marketing, and he finds an episode of your podcast through searching Google that is about social media marketing. Okay. He comes to your webpage. Right there on your webpage is your great episode title, your great artwork, your great podcast player, and he clicks play. He's going to stay on that page at least for a while as he listens to the beginning of that episode to see if it is going to answer the question that he has about social media marketing. You see, you've got Jimmy John on your page, so to speak, as a captive audience for at least a little while. Now, that means you've got to be making great content that sucks him in right away and makes him appreciate what it is you're having to share. But that's kind of beside the point here. The longer he's on your page, Google is tracking that. Bing is tracking that. And they are saying, hey, Jimmy John searched for social media marketing. Jimmy John found this page, and now Jimmy John is staying on that page for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, however long he listens to your episode. And Google's algorithm is making some digital assumptions about that behavior. And the biggest assumption is this is a good resource for people who are searching for the topic of social media marketing. And you know what's going to happen then? The next time someone searches for social media marketing, which is probably going to be 20,000 times later that same day because it's a pretty popular keyword phrase, your particular show notes page that Jimmy John found is going to be bumped higher in the search. That's just the way the search algorithms work at this point in time. And for that reason alone, you want to make sure you're not sending people off your page because that does exactly the opposite. Let me give you that same scenario. Say Jimmy John searches for social media marketing. Say he finds your webpage. Say he comes to your webpage. Say he scrolls through the webpage like I do day after day and can't find a web player, but he only finds a piece of artwork that says go listen on Apple Podcasts, and he clicks on that artwork. Within 10 to 15 seconds, he has come to your page and immediately bounced off your page. What do you think Google thinks in its digital mind as it sees Jimmy John come to your page and then jump off? It thinks this was not a good resource for people searching for the term social media marketing. And so it's actually going to diminish your ranking in Google searchings. Do you see what's happening? You're cutting off your nose to spite your face. I mean, you may want people to go to Apple Podcasts to subscribe because it is very important that they subscribe there. But man, you can arrange that without sending them off of your page. You can put a link there that says subscribe on Apple Podcasts, but leave them, your listener, your reader of that page, leave them the opportunity to listen to your podcast right there on the page. Man, how's that for a rant? I'm telling you, I see this and it drives me crazy. And I know, I totally get it. Let me calm down for a minute. Gotta breathe. I know some of you didn't know that that's how Google actually operates, that's how the algorithm works. You didn't know that. So, hey, I can cut you some slack. I understand. So now you know you're responsible to take action on what you know. But for those of you who did know and you didn't put the pieces together to realize, hey, I'm actually fighting against Google helping me by sending people to Apple Podcasts, you need to do something about that. You should have known better if you knew that already. This is just one of those ways we make a mistake periodically, not even thinking it through in terms of the impact it's going to have based on the knowledge we already have. So that's my rant for this episode. It's all I've got for you. And I hope you apply it right now. Whatever you're doing, stop, look at your show notes pages and see if there's anything you're doing that is keeping people from staying on your page longer. And if you don't have a web player for your episodes, for goodness sake, go to your media host, grab the web player, and throw it into the code section of your page. For goodness sake, keep people on your page. Okay, rant over. You know what time it is. It's time for you to go and make it a podcastificating day. This show is brought to you by Podcast Fast Track, where my team provides professional podcasting services without the time suck. Full production, editing, and show notes all in one monthly subscription package. You can find out more at podcastfasttrack.com. Now go out and make it a podcastificating day. Audio editing and show notes by podcastfasttrack.com. Get 15% off your first month by mentioning this show.